Hello everyone, Krydax here, and welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3. We're back. I've been on vacation, so you'll have to excuse me. I am a little out of date with everything. Literally including mods. So, we're gonna look through the changelogs here. Current version is 46, so a lot of changes. Vat brain. I'm just looking for things that look like changes that are gonna matter for us. So, fixed caravans, blah blah blah. Wrong temperature syrup. Okay, I don't think any of that matter. Or sorry, I don't think any of the 47 updates matter. What about 48? Bone meal into geothermal water. Whoa, interesting. Invalid food items in the dig site, ejected to trash slots, blah blah blah. Turd sign to the icons of turd buildings so they're easier to differentiate in a GUI. I like that, I think I like that a lot. Caravan GUI's been remade. Ooh, lots of fixes to things. Turd recipe, blah blah blah. Bulk inserter 1 and 2 not having correct prerequisites independence. I wonder what that modifies. Okay. That doesn't really do much, I don't think, for us. As far as I can tell. Fix some crashing with caravans. The second caravan crash fix nonsense. I feel like back when they changed caravans in the first place, we had a lot of couple days of chaos. More crashes. Added new cranes that can be enabled in the startup settings. So that is an interesting thing that I'm gonna have to decide if I want to turn on or not. I haven't decided yet. Alternative energy cooking meat is back in spoilage mode. I wonder what that means exactly. Okay, fix some more inserter stuff. Coal processing. What do we got here? Normalized fish farm. And okay, just turd renaming. Dirty water light is now called tailings, and dirty water heavy is now called muddy water. Perfect. So we can type muddy to find muddy sludge. Okay, doesn't seem like anything important there. Fusion energy, just the bulk inserter thing. High tech, bulk inserter thing. Industry. Sinkhole pipe connections rendering improperly on flip. pH. Anthracene plus hydrogen to gasoline recipe can now be used in automation science. Resolves something. Huh. Post-processing, German translation, data stage function. Post-processing can be used as a library without other pYmods, all sorts of stuff. Alright, cool. So I'm gonna update those and we'll hop in game. Alright, we are back in game, and like I said, it has been a while for me. So give me a moment to get my bearings. Upmarking flora and fauna seems to be what we were gonna do next. Why are we jammed up on molybdenum plates? We're out of nitrogen, it looks like. And I seem to remember we even made nitrogen down here. Uh-oh. What's got our goat here? Uh-oh. Super trasher's clogged. That's bad. For why is this clogged? Let me copy this. I've forgotten to do that before. What's up with our trashing system? Oh no. I've screwed it up. Okay, I forgot I was in the middle of changing that at some point. Let's go fix that manually. But I don't know if that actually explains it. Not totally sure. Let's see, is it this block? Which block is my crashing in? No, I just need to hop on a train. And not get run over. It's down here. Okay, so let's see if we can figure out what's going on. By the way, thank you for your continued patience with episodes not coming out every day. Life is still pretty nuts. It looks like I'll hopefully be putting out an announcement video sometime in the next couple weeks here that will kind of bring some more information and figure some more stuff out. But life is just a lot of chaos for me right now. So thank you for your patience. Okay, so what exactly is going wrong here? Is this just trains aren't coming fast enough? I'm not totally sure, to be honest. All I know is we'd like to move this one over here. And then this one, let's see. So are we switching? What's going on here? So limestone is ending up on the right side, and sand is ending up on the left side in line. So I don't really know why I can't just do a sorter for limestone, or I guess biomass left, like that. And then the limestone was going onto this one. Like this. But yeah, hopefully having a couple more unloaders can help a little bit here. I think we're just overloaded on trash. I think the problem is too many trains are showing up. So I might need a whole nother station for this. Maybe another stone station? It looks like stone's jammed up or gravel's jammed up. Yikes. Do we have any other ways to consume gravel? Realistically, landfill is the best way, but we would also need stone and soil's a problem because soil's never really, since we make it on demand, we never really have extra. I guess there's this one, but then it produces tailings dust and coarse fractions to get rid of. So that's 4 per second in a jaw crusher. This is 10 per second in a DDC. This is less than 1 per second, but we get free saline water. So those are tricky ones. I love these turret icons. That's so helpful to see those. But yeah, I think the issue with our super trasher here is we just don't have enough requests for these things, which is really problematic. Who would have thunk? We need another stone super trasher. So this one can handle ash. But we kind of undid the ash handling. So this handles iron oxide. What are all these buildings doing over here, by the way? Look at all these. Huh. Anyway, so this is... Oh, we also have a lot of muddy sludge coming here. Which we could provide. That's a whole different topic. So ash, I think we're still getting rid of properly. Getting all the rich clay. Which I could be turning into stone brick if I had some sand, which I do sometimes, right? Like, we could get some free stone brick out of this. Oh gosh, I don't know what to do about this. No, see, it doesn't say two trains with this stop. Okay, there we go. Part of the problem is we're also trashing the sand here. And then that's just going down there to get trashed. We could belt that instead. Because that's just inefficient. And is this the pure sand? Yeah, the pure sand is just getting burned. Huh. Wait, this isn't pure sand. That's just regular sand. What can we do with regular sand? Or no, that is pure sand. We can kill wastewater with it. That's not what we want. We can get more glass. I wish there were ways to consume things like pure sand and gravel a little easier. Sand can be turned into pure sand. I guess we can classify sand. I missed that one. That's better. Okay, so we can classify sand. When did we unlock that? That was in Pi 1? That's a better way to get rid of sand. This is so tricky. As the rates get higher for these things. Oh, what do we do? Is this starting to unload yet? Or is it still stuck? Still stuck. There's not like a mistake here, right? Provide priority 10. Can change lock slots to 1. Yeah, I mean, I think this is all working properly. Shoot. You know, I don't think I understood the downside of only having a 2-train buffer. And it's because trains take longer to go pick up something and get here than it does to unload. So we actually have slowed... Like, if we had a longer train buffer here, it would actually have helped a lot. But there's no way for me to do that now. For really high throughput stations, it would have been helpful to have a higher train limit than 2. But there's nothing I can really do about that now. Part of me wants to just copy this whole entire block, but that's a bad idea. There's a lot of intermixed things. Sorry, I feel like I'm a little stuck today. Thank you for your patience. We also never connected this. I feel like I'm a little stuck today. So how do we get ourselves unstuck here? I think the answer is we do another super trasher somewhere, maybe up here. That handles stone, gravel, sand, maybe? Or just stone and gravel? Yeah, let's just focus on stone and gravel. Because then we do have the way to get rid of sand, which is the classify. And then that way, that can go back into gravel, and all the gravel can be turned back into sand. So that leaves us with only a small amount of iron oxide and crushed quartz. And the iron oxide can be slimed with tailings. And the tailings can even come from gravel. Sorry, I had to sneeze. We can even turn gravel into tailings this way. Then we get tailings dust and coarse fraction, though. How do we get rid of that? We're just trying to think so we can have zero output here. Coarse fraction can also be classified. That's probably the way to get rid of that. And then we're still left with tailings dust, which we can solid separate, maybe? Or just, we can just burn the tailings dust, maybe? We should probably trash provide it, though, because it turns into blue liquor, which we need for the vanadium pentoxide stuff, which is really annoying. So I should probably keep the tailings dust if we need it, and then burn the rest. And to burn the rest, the easiest way to do that is solid separate it, and that gives us fuel with coal dust. And then we can use that coal dust as fuel to burn all the extra tailings dust. What a world. What a world we live in. Okay, so that, I think, is the plan. We're making a big gravel and stone trashing plant that's going to be able to handle way more throughput than this one can, and we'll put it at a higher priority. You know, this one's at -50, so we'll call it -49 for final trash on stone and gravel. And sand. Gosh, I can't believe we have so much extra of all this stuff. I just think of what we could have done with it. Anyway, okay, let's get started on this. If I just keep talking, we'll never do anything. All right, so strong side. I'm gonna do something weird here, though, and I am going to create a funky system. Funky chicken. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do this yet. Okay, something like this. And then this is confusing, but let's start with just a strong side requester as the basics. But I want it to have all kinds of extra space for a train buffer. So we're gonna put it over here, which is just very weird to do. But I think we can manage to get this connected back to here. Maybe not. Yeah, there we go. So that, and then this can go straight for a lot longer. like that. Then we'll build bloop. Some more construction bot stuff. Make sure we got the zones covered here. Okay, so then the whole goal of this is to be able to have a higher train limit, which it's going to be hard to space these out properly until the rails are built, but that's the goal there. And then we're going to get straight connector so we know where our limits are. Get all those built up. Science isn't running. That's a little bit worrisome, actually. I wonder why that is. Given all the things we've fixed. It's still plasmid somehow. We're out of glassware. Huh. We still are running out of fluid fuels. That honestly blows my mind. That we're running out of fluid fuels. Given everything, that just doesn't feel right to me. How is that possible? Are we not turning this light fuel into a fluid fuel? Oh, well, there's an extra fluid fuel we could get. This light fuel's getting trashed here. Yeah. So there's some extra that we're just wasting. Alright, we can capture that. So we need fungible... FP fungible here. I realize I'm killing 2 connections there. Actual fluid, light, oil. Mask fluid is pressurized air. And provide priority can be the regular 10, because this is stuff that was literally going to go in the trash. Okay, and then we've got to fix this, which can do that, and then this one, which can do that. And then we also broke something up here. Oh no. Of course it's a circuit connected thing. Okay, put that there. Connect those. Alright, so that should fix that, and then the light oil then can connect to here. Right. And the light oil is making sure we have enough gasoline. But if we don't need the gas, should I just use the gasoline? Hold on. 900 to 1.2. You do lose fuel value. I mean, I guess you actually... Maybe you almost keep it all. Well, with aromatic... No, with aromatics... You get... 600 plus 350 is 9. Technically, you have more fuel value on the end of this, but only if you use the aromatics. So then we attach this light oil down here, like this. And then that should still vent back through here when it's at 90%, but that will give us some freebie light oil to use as fluid fuel. So I like that idea. Is this running yet? Still not running. That means we've just got way too much stone all over the place. This is just, yeah, constantly busy. Okay, well, that at least gives me some information, but it is a bummer. It's going to take a hot minute to fix that, because we're going to need a big trashing plant here. Oh, power. I always forget to make sure the power connections are good. Whoops. Okay, well that's still gonna take another second then. And let's start to think about upmarking flora and fauna. What was this a trasher for, by the way? Coke? Coke and coal dust. Okay. What was this? Was this where I was gonna upmark seaweed? I think it was. I think that's what this was for. I actually think destroying these does matter. Because when it crosses all of those, I think it creates a problem. I could be wrong. So for seaweed, let's just look at seaweed first. Let's make an upmarking production line. So seaweed Mark II. And we're also going to want to make seaweed Mark III because that's unlockable pretty soon. There's also Ralasia Stage 2. There's so many things. So one of those... One of these... Why can't it do both? Oh, there we go. It can do both. Okay, so what do we need? We just need fertilizer, Mo-3, seaweed, and tailings and saline water. Yeah, that's not bad. And we'll put low priority on all of these requests because of obvious reasons. And that's pretty much it. We just need the seaweed crop facilities. I do think I want to use bots for all this, which might be unwise, but it's going to save me a lot of space. So that means we're going to need extra channel 1 doodads here. So that'll be channel 1. And then this will be channel 1. And then I'll probably just use... Are fast inserters good enough? Which means we'll need to make these long boys. Yeah, for now I'll just use fast inserters. I could also do stack inserters, which have a little timer thingy, which use... I don't think that's worth it. I'll just use fast inserters. And then we'll do some provider chests. Start with 12 of them. 6 on each. And then... Where are my fast inserters? Do I don't think I have them on here, do I? I thought I did, though. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. I'll put them there. And then we'll need to filter those. So we'll start that out like that. Alright. Getting stuff done. Just tending to the Zen Garden. Thank you all for your patience. I know the series is becoming slightly less popular over time, which is kind of sad to see because in some ways I feel like the game's really starting to pick up and become more... become more and more what it's supposed to be, you know, or supposed to be is a weird word to use, but just I feel like it's really coming into its own, you know, the further the game goes. So it is kind of sad to me that, like, you know, just by nature of normal YouTube stuff, series get less popular over time. But actually, is this a problem? So what is this causing? I guess a train that's going off to the right here is blocking the trains wanting to go that way for too long. But it's not really breaking anything, I don't think, to have that. But we might as well fix it. Okay, so we were in the middle of fixing a lot of things. But the primary one is still over here. So this is our current work area. So what we're gonna need is a big requester, and we can extend it back this way to have plenty of space. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This way we could have maximum unloading potential, and then we need extra signals such that we can fit our 2 trains, which I think that's correct. Yeah, 13 in between. Perfect. So now we can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5. Not quite. Not quite 5. Yeah, I figured that would be the case. Okay, and then where else can we eke out some fluid fuel, by the way? If we're wondering. Should I just use shale oil as fluid fuel? Is that a bad idea? Am I still venting some of that, potentially? It looks like I am still venting shale oil. I need another one of these running. At least it looks like, I mean, this is full. Because I'm currently running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. So that's 250. We should be pretty close to consuming all the shale oil. Don't worry, there's a bot on the way somewhere coming to build this single cursed rail. Why is this one taking so much longer? It's got the color that someone's coming to build it, but shouldn't that have been coming at the same time as the rest of them, roughly? Are you? Wow, he's way behind the rest. I wonder if I didn't have enough bots when I did that, and that one just got distributed differently. That must have been the case. Anyway. So back to this over here. So we're gonna have a giant chest. And maximum unload speed here. And then we're gonna want to handle, I think, like 3 belts of stone. Which means 16 jaw crushers. But this would be a good time to start thinking, are there other things we can do with this stone? So this could be a place where we make stone brick. We could, it's just so slow. We could put in 1,000,000 washers and just make free saline water. I don't know, man. Or should we just make stone furnaces and burn them? That seems cheesy. The question, okay, yeah, I mean, honestly, that's the way to do it. The question here is really, how much do I care about the potential byproducts? Because if we don't, we should just burn stone furnaces. I know that that feels gamey, but I am fine with that. Because we are just overloaded on this guy. So the other options, oh, come back. Alt F, no, Control E. I really need a better hotkey for recipe book. So once we make gravel, the gravel can turn into stuff that's actually useful. Not like huge amounts, but still, like tar and tailings is useful. It didn't, though. It did complete its delivery. It was empty. Anyway. And then the coarse fractions we already know can turn back into iron oxide. We can also just turn the gravel into saline water, but at that point, why not just turn the stone into saline water? And then the sand we already talked about, we can classify. Now, pure sand can't do much, right, either? Yeah, pure sand can't do much by itself. So really, the only reason I would do all this is to provide high priority channel 1 stuff. Otherwise, just trash it all. And that might be worth doing, to be honest. It might be worth doing. Because if I've got billions of sand and somewhere else I'm needing billions of gravel, I'm going to be sad that I'm not just crushing... Or sorry, if I have billions of stone that I'm deleting via stone furnaces, I'm going to be sad that I'm not getting that free gravel someday. So let's do this the right way. Let's get a bunch of jaw crushers. Oh, I'm not in map view. Let's get a bunch of jaw crushers, and we're gonna do this the quote-unquote right way, whatever that means. And we're just gonna make a huge line of jaw crushers. I'll have to figure out the belting situation. We will need stacking, I guess. So that is 12. Perfect. See, I can build this as far out as here, but the problem is the power pole. Okay, so we are gonna need to stack the stone. And then these are gonna do stone to gravel. And then that would get me a fully compressed belt of fully stacked stone. Okay. And so then we're gonna need another station somewhere along here that is gonna be just a multi-provider. Right? Yeah. Yeah, just a strong side multi-provider extension. Give this one lots of space. Here. And then we'll need one of these. Back that up. I don't really know what I'm doing. I feel like this is an inefficient system, but we'll multi-provide here. And we'll make this a big one. And this will provide all of the potential extras. Slots 1, station priority, we'll bump that up to 10, but it'll only provide on channel 1. Okay. So that's that, and then we need... So once we've got the gravel, am I going to do this thing? For extra tar and extra tailings? And coarse fractions, and or am I just gonna crush it into sand as another option? I think for now we'll just crush it into sand. So I think I was supposed to delete that one. Yeah. Also, I definitely need like an extra signal somewhere along here. And maybe even here. So we'll have the stone come out. We'll need another version where we just turn it into stone furnaces and delete that. So we're going to need some fuel. So I might need to actually request. Can I fit in a normal requester here? I think I can actually, funny enough. So inside of this, I can fit just a normal requester. Closest there. Goodness. This is some blurst technology. Y'all are like, what did he do while he was on vacation? Because this is chaos. So here we can request some fuel to run the burners. And what we'll do is have our stack. And what did we say? These are about 12 a second. So if I want 45, I'm gonna need 4 of them. So there's our fully compressed stone belt. Gonna need this. And these are gonna be, what is that? Oh, a brown tree. I was like, what happened to my stack inserters there? So these are gonna be filtered on stone. And then we have to do the like close but far to actually get it landing on the close side of the belt. So that will be good to go for those. And then we'll have this come down. Let's get rid of these trees. And then, yeah, we'll split off output priority right to create gravel and sand for everything, but otherwise, not so much. Now, for a second, is that loader plus splitter, or is that 2 fast inserters, or is that 4 regular inserters? Oh, it just feels... I feel like it's just on the cusp of it feels bad no matter what combination of stuff I do. Huh. Feels bad no matter what, huh? And then 3 out. 3 out feels like 3 inserters is the answer there. The problem is we're gonna have to deal with 3 belts total. Will it be 3 belts? Yeah, technically it will be. Well, but 45... hold on. I shift right click, there we go. 45 is gonna be closer to 33.3 or 33.6 or something, but then I can't deal with a full belt. Am I okay with that? I don't know. All right, so anyway, back to this stuff. Stone furnace. How many? So you can, so if we have 45 stone a second, we're making 9 stone furnaces a second. That's still a lot. So I need 5 of these making stone furnaces. So that's stone furnace. Can stone furnaces be turned into anything that they get used in multiples? I could make burners, but then I'm wasting tons of other stuff. So not really. Yeah. There's nothing else to do once you have a stone furnace. So then we are going to pile those into burners. And burners, shoot, what's the rate again? Is it 2 items a second? Because they have a crafting speed of 5, but most items take 3 seconds for their burning recipe, if I'm remembering correctly. Wow, we're almost done with this episode. We haven't even done anything. 1.5 second crafting time? Oh, that's right, that's right. So 5 divided by 3 is 1.66. So we do... Am I doing that right? So it's not it's 3/5. What? It's 5 items. The speed is 5. The crafting time is 3/2 of a second. So it's 2/3 of an item per second times 5. So it's 10/3 is the final speed. So 3 items a second. So 3 burners should be able to handle exactly 10 items a second, which would be 50 stone. So 3 burners should be all we need here. Like that. And we should be fine on a single belt. Now there's gonna be ash on here too, but I'm okay with that. I'm gonna bring in the fuel on a belt here. And it'll just be, what's the cheapest fuel we can get? Raw coal? I could use coke if I was worried about trashing coke, you know, if I needed to trash coke. This is where having fungible solid fuel could be nice, because then I could use whatever's the highest priority, but I'll just do raw coal. Just to guarantee it's always cheap. And 30 stacks, and that'll last forever. And we'll just bring that over here. And we can burn other stuff down here if we need to. Make sure all these inserters have power. And then I'll bring in the stone here. Oh, this is definitely gonna be loaders though. I did not take that into account. So we definitely need to load in to these guys. And why don't I just do it this way? We can use underground belts. Like this. Okay, output party left. Okay, there we go. So that is our stone deletion method. Much more effective, I think, than the old way. And then these guys are 2 a second out. I guess I should have the both lanes used up, because 10 a second. And then... there we go. Now these are gonna create ash. So are we gonna have an issue? Since these can burn we are gonna have an issue actually. I need one more set. But even then, that's gonna create an issue because this one will always be busy and it'll build up on ash. And eventually it'll get stopped up and it'll get stuck and it won't unstuck itself. So weirdly, this feels like unnecessary circuitry. But if I don't want to circuit these up, how else can I do it? I can do it like this. Smart. We'll just have the maximum rate be 2.4 a second. And 4 of those will be enough. And then there's always enough extra throughput of the burner to burn the ash that it's producing. Because it makes 1/5 of the ash. You know, it's a 20% chance to make an ash every time. Right? Yeah. And so since it's a 20% chance to make an ash, if it's doing 3 items a second, that's really 3.6 total. That's too much. So 3.3 items a second would definitely be too much. But 2.4 items a second is just like 2.8-ish total. So the ash should have plenty of space to get burned. And I think I am going to do loaders here, which means the belt actually needs to be up here. So remove all that. And then we're going to... why don't I just create the blueprint for the front? This one's a little different. Alright, so there's that. Output priority left. Power pool. Okay, so something like this. going. Boom. All right, so there's that. Starting to look better here. This is no filter. That's only one lane. Does that matter? You know what? I'm gonna allow it. I'll allow it. All right, and then that we get a crap ton of gravel out. We get 3 belts of gravel. The question is, do I consolidate it with loaders into like a shed and then use stack inserters to create a stacked belt of gravel to then move around to all the stuff over here in the sand, or do I just go for it? Honestly, I say we just go for it, because what we can do, it's kind of weird, but let's leave room for 3 belts here. I can just start making the sand off of the gravel that we have on this, and then once the sand backs up, then the gravel will back up, and then the stone will back up, and then it'll turn into stone furnaces. So that all works out fine. So this will be our infinite gravel and sand supply. So this is high priority, but not priority 10, because priority 10 is byproduct. So we'll do like priority 2. And only on channel 1. And then I think we will just not stack. So we'll just have 1 billion belts coming over here. So it'll be 3 belts of gravel. Probably only 2 belts of sand because it's 4 to 3, 4 to 3 twice. I think that gets us down to 2. So these will be 2 belts of sand. Which actually means the sand crushing can start at a later moment. Sand crushing can... I don't know how much sand we need, but it's not going to be as many. Because if we have this many, then that's going to be 36 a second gravel. Isn't that the number we had? Yeah. Well, 4 to 3. I'm smart. The ratio of 4 to 3 is actually a ratio of 4 to 3. 12 to 9. What do you know? Who would have thought that it would have turned out that way? That's actually really funny. I don't know why that didn't occur to me to do that. Okay, so we've got this guy, and then I think, is it gonna work out to have an even distribution of lanes even? It might, because I've got 12 here, right? And I've got a total of 6 lanes. So 2 jaw crushers per lane is perfect. Quite literally perfect. Okay. Let's get all that plopped in. And now we just have 2 that'll be on the close side. And now we need 2 sets like this. And then those 2 are on the close side of that belt. And now we need 2 that are on the far side. That belt. And then we need 2 that are on the close side of that belt. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Perfect. And now, as far as these guys, hadn't really thought this through yet, I guess. Are we gonna need a grab from all 3 belts, potentially? Because these guys are gonna need a grab from these belts. Hadn't really thought that through. Yeah, without a stacked... Maybe I should do stack. Oh, this is tricky. But then we have to stack it up there, bring it back down with splitters and loaders. It feels easier to just use inserters for this. But now it gets tricky figuring out how many, because the ratios aren't as nice anymore. We had 6 lanes, but now we're doing 6 to 9. 6 lanes to 9 buildings. So each lane needs to go to only 1.5 buildings. So, like for this, we want to do... Well, I guess it's 3 belts to 9 buildings, rather than 6 lanes. Because inserters take from whole belts, not from lanes. So we actually should be able to just do 3 buildings per belt and call it a day. Never, so we're fine. I don't know why I'm doing mechanical there. So then we just do long inserters here now. So 3 buildings from that belt. And then 3 buildings from the normal belt, or the close belt, I should say. Okay, perfect. And then we've got out, out. And we're gonna make a total of 2 belts here. With 9. So with 9, how many does 5 make? 5 makes exactly 15. So then, let's see, exactly 15. So it's almost like we need to split. I'll do that. And then I'll do that same thing again. In terms of close versus far. So those are evenly balanced. And then this building needs to have 1 extra inserter, so it can split perfectly evenly. So that should be exactly 15. And then this one will be slightly less than 15. Okay. And now we've got our gravel. Goodness gracious me, oh my. And sand. I'll leave a space between them. Well, this has been honestly a fun episode. I didn't know where it was going when we started, but look at where we're at now. Started at the bottom, now we're here at the top. Alright, so gravel. Get rid of these trees. Gravel's gonna come down. I have no idea what I'm doing in terms of other stations, so I probably should utilize this space. Like that. And then this space. For the, sand. Alright, and then loader. Okay, and then these all get wired up. Remember, we wire them up individually rather than to each other so that if we remove one of these, it doesn't break the whole system. I think that's a good rule of thumb. Gravel less than, let's see, 288. So what's 144 stacks times 200? Let's just do 140 stacks times 200. So 28K, somewhere in that range. And then we'll do the same for sand, because sand also stacks to 200. Now, at any point, if I want to, I could also utilize this place to provide pure sand. Because we've got tons of sand, so all we need to do is wash it up here somewhere and then provide it. Okay. I think that pretty much does it for a stone trashing system. Stone final trash. Primary. Train limit is 5, we said, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Wow, I added all that space and it's still only a train limit of 4? Can I move that up and it still works, or not so much? I don't think that'll work. No. Unfortunately. I could S-curve this. Since we got all this empty space anyway. To have some extra space here. And then I think we will be able to fit another train in. So this will be a train limit of 5. And at least for right now, the only thing it can request is stone at -49 on channel 2. And it will request stone, but the right one. And it will do 120 stacks. No. It will do... yeah, 120 stacks, because we're probably going to request gravel at some point as well. So that's fine. And here come 2 trains immediately. 3 trains immediately. Uh-oh. The tracks aren't done yet. I shouldn't have built that. Whoops. That was kind of a bad idea. So it seems like the power's not hooked up, but I think we're fixing that. Okay, lamp there, lamp there, lamp in the middle, lamp at the bottom. Alright, yeah, train can't find a path. It should be solved soon. Don't worry, we've got bots on the job. Well, this has been a longer episode than I planned, but that's okay. Be fine here. I hope that's long enough for a train, otherwise that whole S-curve thing was for naught. It's really impossible to tell. I should have built it in the editor to see. Oh, and those need to be powered up. Did one finally go down here? It did! Yay! That's good news. That's good news. Also, why isn't the soot going anywhere? Because isn't the soot trashing a different one? Or is it this one too? It's not this one. Request. Soot. 20 to 4K. Wait. Why has soot not been trashed? Do we just not have 4,000 soot? We don't. No, but it stacks to 20. Hold on. This is confusing. Oh, because it's a super trasher. It's subtracting 30 stacks from soot, because that's how it works. Duh. So before it trashes soot, it has to get an absurd amount. You know what? The 5,000... I might be screwing up with 5,000 lead in here. I just think this is not a big enough chest is part of the problem. Weirdly enough. I'm gonna extend this chest by 2 squares, I think. Which I need to fix bitumen chest in case I end the episode before we get to that. Okay, so here we go. This is rolling now. I guess it's not making a fully compressed because of just the swinging arm issues. So what we then need to do is add one more. That merges like that. Did I do that one wrong? I did. But I can fix it. Okay, and yeah, the gravel's getting used up to turn into sand, which should back up at 28k sand, only providing on channel 1. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. And then down here, we still can't quite fix this. Yeah, I don't think I did the math right, because 5,000 is 100 slots for lead that we're taking up. And then for soot to ever get trashed, that requires another 50 slots minimum. So there's already 150. I guess technically we're fine. Yeah, no, we're okay. The problem was just stone wasn't getting trashed, but we'll, I guess, expand it here. But that is going to take a minute for bots to finish all that. All right, and then it looks like we got some research done. Research going there. We should see nitrogen. What was I even needing nitrogen for? Oh no, I already forgot. What was... Oh, it was molybdenum. Yeah. We should see that flowing again. And pretty soon the Mo03 is gonna back up here. Got the 2,500. Why don't we go to 3,000? Why not? We're gonna use a lot of it for seaweed. Alright, so we'll work on our seaweed uplifting, upmarking, upgrading, whatever you want to call it, in the next episode. This is now fully compressed. Perfect. And I could unload this even faster if I wanted, but honestly, well, I guess we could have gravel. Gravel trains are going to be pretty hefty. That one's missing power. Sweet. This is beautiful. Now, some people have asked me, by the way, I don't know if I've talked about this before. I feel like I maybe touched on it at one point. Some people have asked me about cranes, and we even talked about at the beginning of this episode, there's now pie cranes that exist. Do I want to use them? My brief answer is actually no, because loaders will load up to what I call the hard insertion limit. There is an automated insertion limit on buildings, as you know, like if inserters are inserting into a building, they fill it up to that number. And that number is calculated internally based on how fast the recipe goes, multiplied by some other things. In this case, it's 4 recipes. But the problem is if you use loaders, it doesn't go to the automated insertion limit of 12. It goes to the hard insertion limit, which is currently 102. And the hard insertion limit is based on stack size. I think it's like stack size times 2 plus a certain amount or something. But the problem is that insertion, that hard insertion limit, actually no, sorry, it's the biggest inserter times 4 What's 13 times 4? 52. Yes. So it's 52 plus 1 stack. So it's 102. So if we have inserters that can hold 100 items, well, guess what? Now this hard insertion limit goes up to 450. And now it's buffering 450 stone in every building that uses the loader. Now, in some senses, that's not that much of a problem because anywhere where you're using a loader as the input, you're dealing with pretty large quantities, so it's not too big of a problem. But that is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of extra buffered items everywhere that we are using loaders to buffer items. So I don't love that for that reason. That's the downside to cranes, and it's completely unavoidable unless cranes weren't inserters, and I don't know how that would work, but the only way that would be avoidable is if cranes didn't count as inserters. And they do count as inserters, so... Alright, I'm really happy with this. I know this was a long episode. I probably shouldn't have gone this long, but I wanted to see it running, and here we are. So we're going to call that an episode. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next one.